Pink Friday 2 is really coming. It's such an interesting thing, to have been a fan of someone's music when you were literally like 13 years old. And now 10 years later, they're doing essentially their reprisal of that iconic debut album. We can't just treat this like another album. One of the most popular videos on my channel is my What to Expect from Nicki Minaj's fifth album, or NM5 video. I made that video maybe like 2-3 years ago, and that was after we'd already been waiting for what, like 2 odd years. And now we're finally getting the fifth album. There's quite a few reasons why it's such an important album. I just think it's worth a deeper look at why. If you don't already know me, my name is B. I'm a lawyer, an artist, and a hip-hop intellectual. On this channel, I like to take a deeper look into hip-hop. I take deep dives into the culture, into the business behind it. So make sure that you stick around, subscribe, and keep watching if you want to hear more of my thoughts. The first thing I wrote down when I was thinking about this video was nostalgia. I say nostalgia because the sort of 2000s, 2010s, early 2010s are coming back into fashion right now. Millennials, so my age, we were young kids right at that time. I was about 13 when Pink Friday came out. Now we're able to go back and really like participate in more of the trends and things that were going on at that time. And we're really nostalgic for our youth, for the music of our youth. And Nicki was the soundtrack to my young womanhood. A lot of us are reaching back into the past for how music used to be and how music used to make us feel, because it wasn't just, we supported a song because it was charting. Artists genuinely impacted a lot of the culture that we absorbed and we consumed. Nicki changed how girls used to do their hair and how people would speak. A lot of those elements people are nostalgic for. They're nostalgic for that sense of identity and belonging that came with Nicki's debut era, because you may have always been the weird kid, but Nicki validated you because she was weird too, but she was super powerful, a superstar. And that generation that Nicki raised, we're now nostalgic for that feeling. So I do think that one of the most important things about this album is definitely the nostalgic element. This album is important because there's an entire generation, especially of young Black women, that she's raised and inspired. Nicki's fans are young women in our 20s, 30s. A lot of them are exactly like me now. We're opinionated. We are trying to figure out what we want and how do we get what we want. Nicki used to, I would say, be like a big sister in a way. Now we are the age Nicki was when she came out. This album is an opportunity for her. Obviously, she's a married woman now. She's a mother now. A lot of the things that she'll be doing, her lifestyle choices at least, she's not just being Nicki Minaj, the Barbie, every day. I do think that there's an opportunity on this album for her to introduce herself as a human being first and really connect woman to woman with those young women that she raised. Just because of the demographic of fan that Nicki has, that's why I think this album is going to be a big moment or an opportunity for her to really connect with her core audience, her original audience. So the next note I had written down was career defining. Pink Friday 2 is a career defining album, but not in the way a less established artist needs to define themselves. It's a defining album because it's a timestamp. It's like, this is Nicki Minaj at legend status, absolute GOAT levels, legend status, still in the game, collabs with young hot things, still top, still number one, still the one to beat. It's incredible to hear that from her and hear what it sounds like from her POV as the undisputed legend. We had the Queen era. We had the, oh, is Nicki's crown under challenge? It's now not up for debate. It's been pretty established now that, you know, they had an attempt, they had a run at her head. It failed. Nicki's still the dominant. She's still the supreme. So what does it sound like? What's it like to be the prima donna and have survived and weathered the storms that you've survived? What do you have to say? And we got a preview on the VMAs. She said, it's a big difference between me and you. I ain't nothing like you or you. So if that's the vibe we're getting to, Nicki, I'm very excited to see it. Define yourself. Explain what it's like to be in a totally different bracket. And also, it'll be interesting as well to get Nicki's POV career-wise. What does she think about the generation that she's birthed in this time? What does she think about those girls? You know, what does she have to say to them? That's what I mean by career defining. And also, obviously, I've mentioned before, but she's got her own record label now, heavy on it. So this album as well is career defining, because I'm pretty sure this is the first time she's going to be releasing an album with her label in existence. So there's lots of interesting opportunities. I'm very excited to read the sleeve of my various vinyls that I've purchased, and to see whether it says Heavy on It Records on there, because that was a really major business move that she did. So this is what I mean by career defining. Nicki's dropping an album from a place in her career that she's never been in before. She's not a rookie. She's not challenging the legends, the GOATs. She's not having challenges. She's been through all that. Now we're at the motherhood, marriage, peace. What's it like here? What's going on, Nicki? We want to hear. Define who you are and where you are right now. Another reason this album's quite important, Nicki's fifth album, is guidance to a younger generation of rappers on longevity. Because I mentioned that, you know, it's been, 15 years since Nicki's debut. She debuted in 2010. It's 2023. So, yeah, about 13 to 15 years she was rapping before that. And she's still here. The way this album sounds, the way that it's received, the feedback it gets, this is all going to be very important guidance for the younger generation on what do you do to maintain longevity. And when you've been in the game for a while, what kind of album should you drop, or what kind of things have worked for other people? And ironically, it kind of relates back to a rant that Drake went on after Joe Budden criticized his recent album, For All the Dogs. But this is guidance, and Nicki has an opportunity with this album to show people that, to answer that question, to say, well, this is what it sounds like when you've been in the game for 15 years. This is what they want to hear. And sometimes it can backfire, you know, when you're a legend making albums. I'll put this into another video, but one of the things that Drake has been receiving a lot of criticism for from All the Dogs, his latest album, is that the lyrical content is not mature enough. It's not at the place that people would expect it to be, given that this music is coming from Drake. So it can backfire. When you're a legend, when you're that person in that top spot, people are going to want more from you than they would want from your bog standard everyday ABC rapper. So with Nicki, whatever she gives us, this album will be a verdict really on, is that what people want to hear from a female rapper 15 years in? Obviously there's challenges to that. Most of the time people's opinions, you know, they don't really mean anything, and the artist does know their art and their own craft the best. But nevertheless, you're still going to get critical feedback on this album. And so I think that if you were ever in the younger generation of rapper, male or female or whatever, pay attention to what's going to happen with Nicki's album. Just pay attention to the critique she gets. Pay attention to it, because that is a case study on how to navigate the industry from a position of longevity in a context where no other women in your area have maintained their success and relevance for as long as you have. So there's lots to learn, is what I'm saying about this album. I think this album has a lot to teach, and smart people will pay attention to what Nicki's doing. So that's pretty much it on my brief thoughts on why I think this is going to be a really important album. Something I didn't say is that this album will be an opportunity for her to do things over after Queen and have a better rollout and anything like that. The reason being because I don't care about album rollouts. The thing I care about is the album itself and how does the artist feel? You know, does the artist feel happy with their work? Are they enjoying themselves? Because I don't want to hear an album from someone that didn't enjoy making it and somebody who's not enjoying the concept of the album coming out. And Nicki is having a whale of a time right now. She is really enjoying the lead up to this album. She keeps saying how good it sounds. She's given us so many different treats and surprises every Friday. For Pink Friday, you know, we've had freestyles, we've had Big Difference snippet, we had Bam Bam, we've had vinyls, signed CDs, merch, you know, so many fun little goodies that she's been giving to us, which have just been a pleasure to take part in. And that's the point. The point is, this is an artist that's feeling really good about their upcoming projects, like really, really good about it. It does not matter at all that, you know, it's the neatest rollout or it's no, the point is Nicki Minaj is releasing an album, the world will move. That's how it works. And so that stuff can be put to the side. And right now we can focus on what's important, which is enjoying the music and enjoying seeing Nicki having a good time. That's what I'm loving. So I'm just so excited for this album to come out. I'm obviously going to have an album review up on the channel, but you let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Why do you think Pink Friday 2 is such an important album? What are you most looking forward to? And which track number do you claim? If you want to follow me and keep up with me, you can find me everywhere at the B Makosha. Other than that, peace out, and I'll see you in my next video.